So good evening guys, what's up? Okay, I hope now you're getting the audio, okay? So welcome to this new series called Cat Practice. And if you've gone through the YouTube community notes section, then you already know that the agenda of the day is reading comprehension. So we are going to work on some previous year questions of RC. So that's the game. And before that, if you happen to have any questions, please ask. So I just noticed that somebody was asking me how to use our books. So the books are written for people who have not been able to join our batch and are preparing by themselves. But then I remember meeting you just a few minutes ago in our MBA Ignite batch. So for you, the path is going to be different. I want you to go through the classes and go through the class questions very diligently. After that, head over to DPPs because every DPP question carries a video solution as well. So when you are stuck, you'd be able to refer to that and arrive at the answer. And then you can use the books for additional practice. Okay, so that's the game plan there. What else? And thank you for the feedback, yeah. When you told me about the sound, we could at least go ahead and check it. And Arin, thankfully, why the problem is not with you. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start working. Are Varsha, then I'm always happy to see you. Even if you're a little late, it's all right. So let's start with RC PYQs. And here is your passage. So as usual, you know that the passage is divided into 3 slides. You can read it. Once you're done reading it, let me know and I can take you over to the next slide. Let's get cracking, okay? Let's start reading. 5 seconds and I switch you to the next slide. Five seconds. And here is the last slide for you. Last 10 seconds. Okay, so here comes the first question. So question number 1, what's your answer? And we'll switch over in 90 seconds. Those of you who are joining me for the first time, we follow a round based approach where first round is where you answer the questions, second round is where you and I work together. Okay, let your answers come. Varsha, this is from Cat 25. That's the more important bit, I guess. So your answer to the first one is, so far I've seen B, C and D. Nobody is bothered to pick up A. Let's see. And we're left with just 5 seconds now. Jikanshu, I don't remember the slot. I think it could be slot 2, but I'm not very sure. Okay, here comes the next question. Lokesh, that's your answer to the second question. Okay, quite a few answers. People have managed to go through this faster for sure. All right, our time's up. Here is the next. Lokesh, that's okay. In round 2, I would help you in interpreting the passage, and you can also ask me a specific part that you could not understand. We can dwell longer on that bit. Okay? Haritra, I could not understand the question. Avinash, you can refer to the passage on YouTube. No, you can use the seeker, go back in the video, refer to the passage. Okay, most of the people have been working with me for a while, so I forget to say this, but you can always use the seeker of your YouTube video to refer to the passage. Without that, how can you even answer, of course, no? So the answers are coming now. Let's see. Two different options have been chosen, and I think we have passed our time. So let's move over to the last one. No, sorry, I did not even, I forgot to change the question, it seems. Huh? Hang on. No, let's. Okay. A. Think it could also be C. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead. I have your answers, and let's now move towards discussing the passage, and then we will dive into our options. So let's start. This book takes the position that setting in literature is more than just backdrop. So let's hit pause here. The moment I read this, I know that we are commenting on a book. Which book? We don't know that yet. But what we do know about this book is that this book has taken a stand over something. This book contains the author's position on something. And what is that position? Setting in literature is more than just backdrop. So, setting is whenever you write literature, you write a story. The story is always set in a particular area, in a particular time, right? So, you're saying setting is more than just backdrop. So, you're saying that setting is not just a prop, that setting also plays an important integral role in that story, and that is the part which is coming in next. That important insight into literary texts can be made by paying close attention to how authors craft place as well as to how place functions in a narrative. So you can say when you evaluate a story, a novel, you can get some important insights into that. Through what? Through paying attention to how authors craft place. So when you write a place, you fill it with details. You see how exactly has the author gone on to share those details with you, and what kind of function does the place have in that story. So far, what do we know? Setting of a story is also very important according to a book. The authors included in this reference work engage deeply with either real or imagined geographies. So, in this book, we are probably talking about multiple authors, and each one of those authors is doing what? Engaging deeply with real or imagined geography. So, the setting of a story, so a story is set at a place. The place can be real, the place can be imaginary. The place can be New York, the place can be Wakanda, right? They care about how human decisions have shaped landscapes and how landscapes have shaped human practices and values. Some of the best, so they care about how humans have shaped landscapes and how landscapes have shaped human practices. This part is, I think, understood. Some of the best writing is highly vivid, employing the language of the senses. Now, what do you mean by language of the senses? Here is a brief note on it. Okay. So, sensory language is the use of descriptive words that appeal to our five physical senses. How? Come to think of it, here is a sentence that is written for your eye. So, when you read the sentence, the neon green sign flickered wildly in the pitch black alley. You notice it gives you the color of the sign. Had you been there, these are the things your eyes would have perceived. Or when you write a sentence like this, the dry autumn leaves crunched loudly under his boots. You notice sound, written to appeal to the ear. The sweet buttery aroma of baking cookies drifted from the kitchen. Touch. She wrapped herself in the soft velvet blanket. Now, these are going to tell you how exactly that velvet felt against her skin. Taste. So, these kind of expressions, this kind of language is known as sensory language or language of the senses, because this is the primary means through which humans know physical space. Done. Okay, literature can offer valuable perspectives on physical and cultural geography. Okay, physical geography is the place on the map. What is cultural geography? What would that mean? What's your take? How do you define cultural geography now? So, cultural geography is an academic discipline that explores the relationship between people and their environments. It explores how cultural practices and identities are shaped by the geographical space and how they interact with the geographical space. For instance, come to think of it, imagine there is a society that lives in a desert and there is a society which lives next to the sea. Will both of them have similar kind of religious festivals? So you notice that geography is determining the kind of festivals they go for. I've lived in Rajasthan, I've lived in Punjab. These are two states that I've lived extensively in. You've noticed in the interiors of Rajasthan, at least in the era gone by, you had these mud houses. I've noticed certain places in Rajasthan that use stone extensively when they build their house because the stone is easily available. It's called Kota stone. Places wherever Kota stone is available, they use it extensively. So you realize the kind of houses people build, the kind of festivals they celebrate, all of that is dictated by their geography. So that's the cultural side of geography. So literature can offer valuable perspectives on physical and cultural geography. So unlike scientific reports, a literary narrative can provide the emotional components. So even science can tell you about the geography of a place, but science is not going to talk about the emotional component of that place. In literature, you can go ahead and talk about that emotional component as well. Right? In human experience, geographical places have a spiritual or emotional component in addition to and as part of a physical layout and topography. So, it's not just land along with its features, sea, mountain, plains, desert. It's not just that, there is also a spiritual or emotional component associated with it. So this emotional component, although subjective, is no less real than a surveyor's map. Human consciousness of place is experienced in a multimodal manner. Multimodal manner is multiple ways. Mode basically is method. So multimodal would typically mean different methods. So when you use several different methods to do something, you call it multimodal. So you experience a place in multiple ways. One of those ways is emotions, spirituality, and those things are also real. So histories of places live on in many forms, one of which is the human memory or imagination. So history can be found in history books. History can be found in archaeological excavations, but history is also found in the minds of the human beings. So before I transition, now what do we know? Setting against which a story unfolds is also very important. Uh, and then the next one says, and therefore literature, you can use literature to gain valuable perspectives on physical and cultural geography, particularly the spiritual and the emotional part associated with a place, which is as real as the hard, verifiable, objective features of that land. That's the crux, basically. Then next, both real and imaginary landscapes provide insight into the human experience of place. So, the landscape of a story, we know from the previous slide, it can be real or imaginary. Whatever it is, it provides insight into the human experience of place. The pursuit of such a topic speaks to the valuable knowledge produced from bridging disciplines and combining materials from both the arts and the sciences to better understand the human condition. So these places can tell you about human condition, and because second paragraph told us, no, emotional side is also important. So when you combine the emotional side from the literature to the hard sides from science, you are better able to understand the condition of humans in that particular area. The perspectives that most concern cultural geographers are often those regarding movement and migration, cultivation of natural resources, and organization of space. So what specifically cultural geographers focus on? The latter two is cultivation, organization. They reflect concerns of the built environment, a topic shared with the field of architectural study. So these things are studied by cultural geographers as well as archaeologists, or no, not archaeologists, sorry, architects. Many of these concerns are also reflected in work sociologists do. Scholars from literary studies can contribute an aesthetic dimension to what might otherwise be a purely ideological approach. So once again, aesthetic, emotion, those things are being supplied. So when you study the condition of people in a particular area, you study a lot of things. Cultural geographers focus on these four, but these four are not the exclusive pursuit of cultural geographers. Other branches also study certain aspects. So how is literature unique? It gives you the aesthetic dimension. It brings in beauty. Aesthetics is basically beauty, emotion, right? So you go beyond mere ideology into something which is more concrete. Then let's have a look at this. Literature can bring together material that spans different branches of science. Once again, that same theme which we studied in the last paragraph. For example, a literary description of place may involve not only the environment and geography, but the noises and quality of light, or how people from different races or classes can experience the same place in different ways, linked to those racial or class disparities. I mean, come to think of it, no? When you go to a five-star hotel, you can go there as a guest. You can also go there as a bearer, as a waiter, as a janitor. And will your experience of that place, will the experience of both those people be the same? I think that's the utility of exploring places through literature. Literary texts can also account for the way in which absence affects a human observer or inhabitant. Both literary and scientific approaches to plays are necessary. They work together, achieve a complete record. Important to note that the interdisciplinary nature of this work teaches us that landscapes are not static, that they are not unchanged by human culture. Humans influence landscape, landscape influence humans. At least part of their identity derives from the people who inhabit them. and from the way space can alter and inspire human perspective. Throwback to the first paragraph, essentially, the intersection of scientific and literary expression that happens in the study of literary geography is of prime importance due to the complexity of the personal and political ways that humans experience place. Okay. So, this looking at it this way is also fairly important, is what we have. Let's now go ahead and get into the questions. Oh, Mahadevo, thank you. That I had a long evening and that makes me happy. That makes it all worthwhile. So, all of the following statements, if false, would contradict the arguments in the passage, except that. Now, come to think of it. Except means not true. Except is not. Just erase this. Why am I doing it? I like to replace except with not. Now, what is false? False means not true. So you realize this not and not, they get cancelled out. So now the question is, and then all also of course will become one. So one of the following statements, if true, would contradict the arguments in the passage. So I am looking for the one which contradicts. So the answers that you shared with me were B, C and D. Nobody chose A. So A, let's remove A. Let's check now. B, descriptions of places do not need satellite imagery or other visual aids to give a real sense of the place. Does it contradict something that is stated in the passage? Has the passage even talked about satellite imagery? It hasn't. So, if the passage does not even talk about something, how does an answer choice go on to contradict it? Let's remove it. See, literature provides us with deep insights into the ways in which movement and migration affect physical geography. Dude, third paragraph, fifth paragraph, this is mentioned. This is consistent with the passage. It is not contradicting the passage. So remove. D, humans do not interact with places in subjective emotional ways because places are only physical topography, direct opposite of what was given in the passage, and therefore D is going to be our best answer. Right? Okay, so you get the drift? There you go. So the problem here can come from two places. Number one, you could have struggled to understand the passage. Now, why would you struggle to understand? Because A, the language of the passage was difficult, or B, the passage talked about a subject matter that you're not very comfortable with. Now, I've deliberately chosen this passage because this subject matter has had the highest frequency in the recent years. So when it comes to sociology and anthropology, man, they have given a lot of passages from this area. If you're not comfortable reading it, make sure that you start reading more of it. Okay. And then the second aspect from where you could have been challenged was through this convoluted question stem, where you're like, how do I deal with this? What do I do when there is except? What do I do when there is false? So in the classes, we of course will go ahead and talk about it, or better still, give me a couple of weeks, I'll go ahead, create a YouTube video and upload it. And that you can watch that and hopefully that will help you. Can you explain meaning of backdrop? Absolutely. Backdrop is what lies behind you. So right now, what do you see behind me? A digital board. So that's my backdrop. Now go to Instagram page of a friend of yours and see his photograph or her photograph. There is a scene behind, there is a landscape behind. It could be a wall, it could be a cafeteria, it could be a college class. So whatever is behind the person or persons in a photograph is called the backdrop. Okay. Next, which one of the following is a valid conclusion to draw from the author's statement that? So this is a reasoning based question of the type which you and I know as identify the inference. And in this particular case, the author has done one nice thing. The author has done us a solid. Instead of saying which of the following can be inferred from the passage, he has been so generous, the examiner, where he says that, okay, Here is the line, just tell me what can be concluded from this sentence. And you are absolutely spot on. All of you went on to choose D. D is indeed the right answer. And in case something confused you, let me know. Otherwise, it will work. Kamal, Kamal, this is our MBA Wallah English medium channel. We have our sister channel where we use English. This is a channel which we've created to reach out to those, help those who struggle to understand Hindi. So it's the problem of, it's the nature of this channel. But don't worry, we'd help you practice enough of RC, enough of VA on our sister channel too. But you realize the medium of instruction in the IIMs is English. So the sooner you start becoming comfortable with that, the better it is for you. Which basically means that if you can understand Hindi, you have 2 channels to practice from now. Reasoning for elimination of option A. Okay, sure, Varsha, let's go ahead and check. So what is the sentence? The pursuit of such a topic speaks to the valuable knowledge produced from bridging disciplines and combining materials from both the arts and the sciences to better understand the human condition. Okay, A says a comprehensive understanding of the valuable knowledge produced by the arts and science can best be achieved. It can be achieved through this. Is it the best way of achieving it? It can help us study the human condition for sure, but is it the best way? This best is something that we cannot determine on the basis of this sentence, and that is why A becomes. And those of you who are just coming from Ignite, we haven't talked about these things yet, but when I take you through identify the inference question, you know the kind of approach that we are using. So Varsha, I hope that helps. Okay. Next, which one of the following is not true of the argument in the second paragraph? So the answers that you gave me were C and D. So let's rule out A and B. Let's go to the second paragraph. I forgot to add the second paragraph here. We'll have to go back. Here it is. So what does it say? Literature can offer valuable perspectives on physical and cultural geography. Adds emotions. Emotions are subjective, but they are also important. That's the gist, right? So let's see. Analyzing the literary descriptions of a place can give us a sense of how people relate emotionally to it. Is that true or not true? That is true according to the second paragraph. We were looking for something which is not true. And D says the emotional and spiritual experience of a place can replace a surveyor's map. Whereas this paragraph has been very explicit about one particular thing. It is no less real than a surveyor's map, which means that surveyor's map only gives you the topography, physical layout and topography. These things are equally real, which means that you cannot get everything from the surveyor's map, and therefore to say that it can replace, it adds to it. Okay, and here is the fourth. I got A and not D. I got A and C from you guys. So A versus C. So what is our question? The author uses the example of the literary description of a place to illustrate that. So remember, literary description was mentioned in the first paragraph where we talked about that language of the senses. So we needed to refer to the right part. Now that we know that we are referring to that language of the senses place, now let's think. We are saying that why was that example offered? Why do we offer an example? Every example is supposed to explain an idea or support an idea. So all that I need to see is between A and C, which one of these two gives me an idea that is getting explained or supported by this example. Let's check. literature can convey how different people experience the same place differently. Yeah, some people can write more of sight related things. Some people can write more of sound related things. Different people, right? We have a different modality to approach or talk about. Then see, the absence of other people, animals, and so on in a place can profoundly affect its inhabitant. Absolutely, yes, it is true as per the passage, but it is not connected with the literary description of the place. And that is why between the two, we'll go ahead and choose A as our answer. So, I mean, it's not that third is false, it is true. It is in fact the main idea of one of the paragraphs, or a key idea of one of the paragraphs, but it is not acting as the idea for which literary description can be used as an example for. And that is why between the two, we'll go ahead and choose A. So that's it from me today. You can reach out to me through this Telegram group. That's the QR code. This is the name. You can either scan or search. So you have both the ways available. And before I sign out for the day, here is something that I want you to think over. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. So you want to chase personal excellence? Yes or no? I mean, you are preparing for the CAT. You want to get the number one rank. So how do you get that? You need to have a will to win. You need to have the desire to succeed, that hunger, the urge to reach your full potential. So these emotions, in such strong measure that they don't even let you sleep if you don't give your best. Cultivate these and you will definitely go far. So says Rachel Silverman. And that's where I stop today. And I'll see you in the next one next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll go ahead and we'll change the time. I think a class and then immediately YouTube session is becoming a little tight for me. For instance, I was teaching a class where I wanted to extend that for another 10-15 minutes. Unfortunately, I could not do that. So I may change the time next Wednesday. So keep an eye on the community section. But I will see you with some VA, verbal ability questions in the next class. Until then, go ahead and have a great evening ahead. And do let me know if there is any way I can help you. Varsha, you says here, please make a video for the set on 23 slot 1 RC on post-colonial. Okay, Varsha. Noted. 23 slot 1 post-colonial something. I'll do that. Was this an easy passage among all the 4 passages? No, Lokesh, this was not the easiest of the lot. There was another passage which was probably a shade easier because of its question types. But then I know today you may feel that these things matter, but the truth is you realize whether the paper is easy or difficult does not matter. Why? If it is easy for everybody. So everybody scores more. If it is difficult for everybody. So everybody scores less. You in either case, you are going to hold on to your competitive advantage. If you're better than the others, it will show irrespective of whether the paper is easy or difficult. Okay, so don't worry about that. And yes, we will during our marathons, I can probably take you through an exercise or an activity where we get into passage prioritization. I'll try to do that. It's difficult to do that in a live session, passage prioritization, etc. But but I can probably do that during the analysis of a mock. So the next mock that we analyze on YouTube, I'll go ahead and talk about passage prioritization. Okay, all right then. Take care. See you guys. Have fun.